Funds are flowing a little slower than you expect. Money is kind of tight. And as inflation goes through the roof, things get more and more expensive. And sometimes your income just doesn't keep up. Well, it's not all bad news, particularly if you're looking to save money. I have a couple of interesting and unexpected tips for saving money when budgets are tight. Let's take a look. So you're busy working your main job. Maybe you're working a side hustle. And so far, the revenues are not quite what you expected. But you're still highly motivated to save money. Maybe you want to pay down high interest credit card debt, or perhaps student loans. Or maybe you're in a position where you want to start investing more money to increase your wealth. Don't let anybody tell you any different. That is a good goal. And to achieve that goal, you have probably already heard the standard tropes about how to save money. And maybe you've implemented a couple of them. You know the ones. Ditch cable television. Seriously, who has cable television anymore? Use coupons when going to the grocery store. Everybody's into that, dude. Find people to share housing expenses with. Come on, dude. We all know about that one. And of course, get a side hustle. Well, I'm not gonna give you any of those standard tropes in this video. I'll be giving you some unique techniques on how to save a little extra cash to give you room in your budget to do the things you wanna do, or that you know you should be doing. One thing that I'll start out by saying is that this is not an official tip, but a general good to know. Saving money on a tight budget requires creativity and confidence. You're gonna be doing some weird things that people are gonna question a little bit and kind of give you the stink eye. It's up to you to power through the objections and let people know this is how you're living. You're thinking of your financial future. And if they're not on board with that, they're just not on board with you or your program. And either get on board or keep it moving. Now that's harsh, but true, 100%. However, I find when you lay down the law and lead, people who know that they should be doing similar things see what you're doing and they see that you're doing the right thing. At that point, they think to themselves, I should be doing that as well. And if he or she can do it, then I can do it too. Then they begin asking you for tips and following along, and then others start to follow them. And before you know it, you have a little tribe of people all moving in the right direction. But then again, there's the other extreme. It is true that some people will not be down with your new program, and that's an unfortunate reality. But remember, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. If all 5 of those people are broke, you likely are as well. If it is truly your goal to move up in the world, get those 5 people to move up with you or move on. The choice is yours. But on to the first real tip. Watch YouTube. Now I know what you're thinking. Derek, I'm watching YouTube right now. And for that kind of basic info, I'm gonna click out, killing both your YouTube watch time and ultimately making your channel dead. Well, thank you for the feedback. But what I was getting at is that YouTube is filled with great free information on tons of topics that otherwise drain people's wallets. Things like do-it-yourself plumbing, electricity, water heating, and other simple around-the-house tasks. You wouldn't believe how much money is wasted by the average person simply hiring a professional to do tasks that you can do yourself. How do I know this? Well, my dad was a big do-it-yourselfer back in the 80s, before all the plethora of home flipping channels like HGTV took off. And he would always give me and my siblings great advice that's always stuck with me. You can't hire someone to care as much about a problem as you care about it. What does that mean? Kind of self-explanatory, but I'll dive into a little bit anyway. Even if you are hiring someone to take care of a leaky faucet, or a blown gasket, or a blown fuse, they're really there just for the paycheck. Don't get me wrong, if they're a certified professional, they're probably gonna be doing a bang up job, no doubt. But in the end, they will not care as much as you will. So you might as well put in the work yourself and save yourself the labor costs, right? Now back in the 80s and 90s, there were no YouTube channels with this information given away for free. You needed to attend some seminars and buy books to get a good understanding of all this do-it-yourself stuff. That's not the case any longer. We have a plethora of those channels like I mentioned before, so take advantage of the opportunities that you have now. And let me be clear, I'm not saying if you have a maintenance emergency, handle it without calling a pro. I'm saying don't be afraid to research a simple, non-urgent problem yourself first before you call in some hired help. You'll save a ton of money, learn a ton of stuff, and have a ton of fun. Speaking of having a ton of fun, switch to a prepaid cell phone plan. Speaking of calling in the handyman to do some work, how about switching to a prepaid cell phone plan to do just that? Let's ask ourselves a question. To call in that handyman to do that emergency maintenance stuff, do you have to have a cell phone plan that's monthly? Now if you do, those monthly plans are expensive as heck. And if you have a family plan with a ton of people on it, the monthly recurring costs can get stratospheric. And honestly, how much data do you need while roaming in Wyoming? I'm a poet and I kinda don't know it, but consider switching to a prepaid cell phone plan. Some people who do are able to cut their monthly bills in half or more. Smaller providers like Republic Wireless, Ting, or Mint Mobile are popping up all over the place and offering great deals for budget-conscious cell phone connoisseurs. That's 4 C's in a row, folks. No standard payment options like paying up front for at least 3 months, ditching cellular coverage and data coverage, and only getting talking, texting, and Wi-Fi are all great ways to cut the phone bill and still remain connected. Now, you won't be able to tweet or check Instagram while hiking in Montana, but you probably should be enjoying being out in the great outdoors anyway. Talking about limiting the online data, minimize sub creep. Have you ever asked yourself, how many streaming services do I actually have? Do you have YouTube Music, Spotify? What about Netflix, Hulu Plus, Disney Plus? Do you have a subscription for file storage, word processing, photo editing? One of the unfortunate realities of today's society is that much of the things that we have come to know and love have migrated into subscription service models. So basically, you sign up for a subscription. It seems minimal, and typically it kind of is minimal, but because it's so minimal, you then sign up for the upgrade package. And also, you like the selection on Hulu Plus and Netflix, so I need both of those. Also, Amazon Prime has great sales that I need to be a part of. How can I miss it on Prime Day? What am I gonna do about all my word processing needs? Well, my friends, you've fallen prey to subscriptious creepus. That is the Latin term for too many subscriptions. Look it up. I dare you to prove me wrong. And write something about it in the comments down below. But subcreep is pernicious and sneaky. You started off trying to cut the cord, but now you have 6 streaming subscription services and are paying more than you ever were for cable. The solution is to get rid of all of them except for the one that you use the most. Well, what am I gonna do with all my free time? How about working a little bit harder or getting that side hustle to turn a profit? Seriously, spending that time working on other things, or at the very least spending it with your friends and family? Well, that's just the better option. Life is better when you're not bombarded with incoming content at all times. Speaking of minimizing recurring costs, how about saving money on toilet paper and other necessities? Now, how can you possibly save money on toilet paper? You have to think, to put it politely, that your toilet paper is sort of a fixed cost. Well, not so much. Have you ever heard of a bidet? Bidet? Not even sure how you pronounce that. If not, then I encourage you to take a look. But a bidet, which is how I pronounce it, is sort of a hose one would use to help freshen after a trip to the restroom. Now that's about as delicate as I can put it, folks. But instead of buying a ton of toilet paper every month or week to do pretty much the same thing, you would use this utility. Now that's a little bit of an extreme case. Maybe you're ready to migrate to the more Eastern methodology of personal hygiene. Well, you can also stop showering at home. I know. Remember how I said you're gonna have to power through some of the objections? Well, this is what I mean, folks. That might seem like a little bit unorthodox at first. Hear me out. To pull this one off, you'll need to have a gym membership to an inexpensive gym that also provides showers. Because you see, instead of showering in your own facilities, you would shower in the gym facilities instead. Basically, taking your home water bills down a notch. Now again, you would have a gym bill in addition to that, but now you're paying for 2 things off that gym bill: your water usage and your gym utilization, saving you all those surprising monthly water bills. Now, if you're the type of person that goes to a gym religiously, that's a small price to pay to help save money. This is also a twofer. You can use that same principle for filling up your water bottles. This is where being confident and willing to stand out really comes into play. What you would do is you would fill up your water bottles, fill them up daily at the gym, maybe at work. Again, you're gonna look a little strange, but that's the price you pay when you're trying to be budget conscious. Another great tip: if you go out to eat responsibly on a budget, you could ask the waiter or waitress to fill up your water bottle before you head home from your lovely, reasonably priced meal that you used a coupon for and only went out on this one time. Now, if you only drink filtered water because it's more nutritious for you, somehow, then this one might be a little bit of a struggle, and perhaps you're better off just sticking with your personal tap and Brita filter. That's a fair point. But remember, if you really want to save money and bleed every nickel dry, it might be worth giving it a shot. Saving on recurring costs is the theme of this next tip, and it's a little bit more of a well-known tip, but for some reason, people are still not taking advantage of it as much as they should. What am I talking about? I'm talking about buying in bulk. You see, going out to eat at a restaurant every day is a budget killer and will likely lead you to penny purgatory. So is buying coffee every day at Starbucks, just like everyone's favorite finance YouTuber, Grain Stefan, is known to talk about. The next best thing is buying your groceries at your neighborhood grocery store. But the next step up from that is to do your shopping where restaurateurs and grocery stores do their shopping, at bulk shopping centers like Costco or Sam's Club. You then buy your main staples in the 30 bulk quantity, or whatever the bulk quantity is for the thing that you're trying to buy. And you would prepare all your meals at the beginning of the week. This technique is synthesized from the 2 worlds of fitness and finance, and really needs a dedicated video to go over the financial and fitness benefits that it provides. Like and subscribe. But it comes from the concept of meal prep. When fitness folks are trying to stay as lean as possible while also growing their musculature, they oftentimes will prepare all their meals in advance to help take the temptation out of food consumption. And they'll just eat those meals when they're scheduled to eat those meals, often 6 times a day, 2 hours apart. Now, you don't have to go to those extremes. You can stick to just 3 meals a day. But the point is to save money and time by buying in bulk and doing all your meal prep at the beginning of the week if possible. You might even just skip the meal prep piece of it and just buy in bulk. But I find that not having to think about cooking my meals gives me much more time to execute on personal goals that I have. But again, that part is up to you. This video is on how to save money, not necessarily on how to be more efficient with your time. Which sounds like an awesome video concept, no? It sounds like an awesome video concept, yes. Be sure to drop a comment letting me know that is something you want to see me make on this channel. and I'll do what I can to put something together on that. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel with post notifications turned on so you don't miss a pulse-pounding second of the action. Share this video with your financial-minded friends, or even your financial advisor. Maybe you get a discussion started on ways that you think you could save a little extra dough, even when money is tight. Also, like this video if you liked this video. I appreciate every last one of those thumbs up, and I can't possibly express how much they mean to me. And remember, a goal without a plan is a wish, and a goal with a plan and no action is a wish list. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.